Is there life out there? Good heavens. To doubt it is a failure of more than the imagination. It is a failure to recognize the limits of our own stupidity, the nascency of our science, the rudiment of our tools. We listen, we search, we hope for a sign as if our eyes and ears are good enough, our brains large enough, our egos small enough. I'm an old man now. I will leave my own mark upon history, more than presidents or tyrants. I don't ask for loyalty and trust, the fleeting bonds of men. I ask only for the years to show my sons and their sons I was right. What their father did had to be done.
Joe Leary and Patrick Shelton. This is season 2, episode.
Come on, Joe.
6?
Episode 6.
Episode
you got
6
it.
of Everything Filmed from the Shark Club in downtown Vancouver. And Patrick, we're joined by acting royalty. William B. Davis, the legendary William B. Davis, joins us. What a pleasure to have you in studio or in our makeshift studio. I didn't realize we were talking before with our publicist Leslie. You're a very active guy. You do a lot of stuff aside from film and television. You do a lot of stuff.
Yes, I do stuff, and I've just written a book.
Yes,
which is partly why I'm here, which is going to be released on Tuesday, May the 3rd. But what else do? I ski. I water ski. I keep busy.
You certainly do. You're an active. Have you always been like that?
Yeah. It's been a challenge to my career actually for all my life. Really, is that I ski and I work, and they're always competing with each other.
Yeah.
So that's one reason I'm in Vancouver. I had the option. I was offered a job to run the Vancouver Playhouse Acting School. This was in the 80s. Why did I come? Because Whistler's here.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I not still in England, where I was working and trained and had a career going and was going to assist Albert Finney on his first movie when he directed his first film? But the National Theatre School of Canada offered me a job in Montreal. Why did I accept? Skiing.
Because of Whistler.
No, because of Mont Tremblant at that time. But I exaggerate slightly.
Yeah. But you're still like an active guy, and this is obviously part of your DNA because you obviously have to stay healthy and vital, and I guess outdoor activities don't hurt that.
No, they're good for that.
Yeah.
Yep. I was skiing only the day before yesterday. Yeah.
Wow.
And plan to water ski this week.
So you are actually somebody that has been trained professionally, like at the very highest level. Is that what in England? And
yes.
Is that so? Can you maybe because a lot of what we do, we have the acting schools, and we know that you've had one here.
Yeah.
Can you just maybe go on about that a little bit and talk about what that actually encompasses? Because I think that's an interesting topic.
I've been one way or another connected to acting schools for a long, long time. I went to LAMDA in London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, trained there, taught at the Guildhall School. Then I went to the National Theatre School of Canada, and I was artistic director there for 4 years.
Okay.
And then I had, as you know, I had my own acting school here, which still has echoes at Van Arts. It still exists in its own form. So I have been involved training actors and studying acting and being an actor and being a director.
In England, Shakespeare comes to mind. Was it like that? Was it like a deep, like we're going to go,
Yes. In fact, the course I went to was at LAMDA was called an advanced course for overseas students in the classics.
Okay.
So yes, we did a lot of Shakespeare. We did Chekhov. We did Restoration Comedy, etc., etc., etc. So that's a fair distance away from, if you like, the method.
Yes.
And
okay.
And the kind of naturalistic acting that we need now, more so because the whole profession has changed. We act in the theater much less often, and at the time I was training, you acted a lot in the theater, and you needed to play a lot of different roles. You need a lot of different kind of flexibility. Now it's more important to be able to be true to who you are right now and to identify yourself with the role.
So it could be comedic, it could be like different strokes for different folks.
Well, actually, it's really strange because, of course, I made my reputation doing the cigarette smoking man on X-Files.
Right.
So I'm the villain and I'm thought of in those kind of things. And then here I am doing Upload, which is a great comic role, and I love doing it.
Okay.
Still the villain, but it's a comedy villain.
William, is there an actor in everybody? I mean, can you find, or is it a craft that you either have some leaning towards, or can you mold everybody into some form of acting?
That's a good question, and the answer is both.
Okay.
if I
Okay.
can. I mean, I am a believer in talent. I mean, in whatever field.
Sure.
I mean, however hard you train, you will not be Conor McDavid or Guy Lafleur. You have to have been them.
True.
You have to have had something that they had.
Sure.
And I think the same is true for some of the greatest actors that we've had.
Right.
But if you ask me, can you, within who you are, be a believable, imagined character in a television series? Yes, you could be trained to do that.
Now, you talked about Cigarette Smoking Man in X-Files, and man, that series just blew up. That probably helped create the Fox network at the time as well.
Oh God, are we responsible for that? Oh no, I didn't know that.
Was it Cancer Man or Cigarette Smoking
Well,
Man?
there was a couple of different interpretations.
It was officially the Cigarette Smoking Man.
Right.
And every script,
Right.
it was spelled out, the Cigarette Smoking Man.
Okay.
So when that was blowing up, what was life like? Because I remember the topography at the time there was a really exciting top-notch production being done in Vancouver. What was your life like when you would be out and about, having dinner at a restaurant or going skiing? Were people going, "Oh my God, you're that guy from the X-Files"?
The villain.
I could sit in a gondola with my helmet on, my goggles on, and people say, "You're from the X-Files." So, yeah, it was kind of like that. Mind you, people got really mixed up. Somebody in Whistler said, "I know you. You're from Kitchener-Waterloo," just because I seemed familiar.
Were you aware as you were cast? Were you aware of the phenomenon that this thing would create?
Not even close.
Really?
Not even close. I mean, who would have thought? This is a show about alien abduction. I mean, who would put money in that? I mean, really. So, no, I was happy I was a gig. I was happy to be hired. And that's all I thought would happen.
Well, I was such a huge fan of the show, but what I liked about it, Joe, and I don't know if you followed it, there was always like the big story that was going on, and then they had the little stories at like the little segments, right? Each show had a segment, but there was always the whole, and you were always part of the big picture.
Yeah, what we called the I've forgotten what we called it actually, but the through line.
Yeah, the through line. Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that, right? Which was kind of interesting that it was one of the first shows that I think actually did that, had like little stories, whatever you want to call them, vignettes of what's happening, but there was the big.
Yeah.
And I think that's what turned into the movie and everything.
Yeah,
eventually,
that's true.
right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So when you teach acting, is there ever a challenge to take direction when you're yourself an actor?
Sorry, when I'm teaching.
So you teach acting. You have taught many actors. When you're the actor yourself and on set, are you able to take any kind of direction, or are you thinking, wait a minute, I think I know more about acting perhaps than you do?
There's an apocryphal story, I think, from the National Theatre School in Canada, in which the artistic director at the time came into a class, and the student was arguing with the director. And the artistic director said, no, that's not how you handle that kind of situation. You don't argue with the director. Oh, well, what do I do? You say, thank you very much, and do what you were going to do anyway.
That makes a lot of sense.
So there is some of that,
right.
For sure.
With the X-Files, the other question I was going to ask is, I got so many for you, we could go on forever. Did you ever find yourself reading lines and you go, what am I even talking about? Because it was so deep at times, like.
That was a lot of the fun of it, actually.
Yeah, like what am I even talking about?
Get the script. What exactly? But I had to know what I was talking about before I got to set.
Right.
Because
there was some
however
deep stuff.
obscure
Chris
it might
Carter,
be
there.
So, I mean, a lot of what an actor does is you have to find the backstory or find the conditions of your life or the circumstances, so that what you say is what you want to say.
Right.
And that's the homework. so that when you actually get on set, you, believe it or not, you want to say those strange lines that Chris Carter gave you.
Yeah. I think that's really kind of.
You mentioned, obviously everything has undergone radical change from where things began to what we're faced with today. How has the acting profession changed in your lifetime, and has it changed for the better or for the worse?
That's that's an interesting question too, because it was fun when we had so much more theater, and of course in England we had way more theater because every small town had its own theater company when I was there. It's not the same now. So you would get to do a lot of acting if you were in a theater company, and you would play a lot of different kinds of roles. So as we talked a bit about before, it's narrowed a lot in terms of what's demanded, but it's also deepened at the same time, so that as the camera gets closer to you in a television or film, or it's wanting you to be very, very true, and in that sense, it's fun and challenging. Yeah.
Did it ever bother you, or does it bother you, if some young actor wants to be a star? Or do you want them to be an actor, or do you want them to be a star?
No, they want to be. I want them to be an actor, but I think a lot of them want to be. Well, they want to be celebrities. Even they don't even care if they do any acting. They just want to be a celebrity.
And unfortunately, with the advancements in technology, they can become quite famous and quite a sensation just for doing nothing on TikTok or something.
No,
Well, I told you guys I was going to play in the NHL, right? You know that, right? I was that close, right? The only thing that was missing was the hocky part.
Yeah, the
you know what I mean? I couldn't play hockey, but other than that,
yeah, exactly.
I had everything going for me.
Yeah.
So, but I'm curious to know if what the future holds for the profession, because obviously there's more means by which you can get things out there to the public, which is great. That's of benefit. You're right. There's probably a lot less theater opportunity, but at the same time, there's no shortage of people wanting to bite off a piece of the acting profession and see where it leads.
I mean, people want to watch
Quality.
Stories.
Yes.
Stories told by actors acting. And that's gone on since the Greeks, and it's not going to change. Whatever the technology is, whatever all that, it's still going to be about. Let's hope it doesn't become. What do they call it? Actually, where they manipulate images. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to be real people.
Yeah,
I think they're going to be still real people acting. Where it goes from here, I don't know. It's interesting. It's an interesting question. It might even reverse. We might get even. We may go back to some degree to wanting to be in a live theater and actually seeing the people right in front of us more than we do now. And now, especially with the pandemic, of course, we've got very used to sitting in our living room and
remotely.
But we're still watching actors doing their work.
Yeah. Who impresses you these days? What a couple of names come to mind?
Derek Jacobi for one, because. And he did a series called I forget the name. It'll come back to me later. But the actors who've done a lot of theater as well as done a lot of television and film. So it's usually the British actors that really intrigue me. The Judi Denches, the Maggie Smiths. Yeah. Of course, I worked with Maggie when she was quite young. Who else?
Who's the actors? What about Sir Laurence Olivier? Somebody of that caliber.
Yeah, well, Olivier, it's interesting. He wrote a book called On Acting. I wrote a book called On Acting, which we're going to release next week. My book is all about how you become an actor, what you do to be an actor, what your preparation is, how you get to the point where you're on stage or film and actually working. His book starts there. It starts with being on stage, and what does he want to do to the audience? How does he want to manipulate the audience? So it's a different mindset. And Olivier was a brilliant talent, but I'm not sure. It's a little technical sometimes. A little.
So with your with the William B. Davis Acting Center, who jumps out to you that somebody you taught that went on to something? Is there anybody?
Who's our most noted graduate at the
Yeah,
company?
yeah, I was curious.
Lucy Lawless, probably.
Lucy Lawless.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the book on acting comes out Tuesday, May 5th.
No, Tuesday, May 3rd.
Tuesday, May 3rd. Widely available.
It will be, yes.
And you didn't even bring us a copy. What's going on here?
Because it's not widely available right now.
Okay.
Right now, the books are coming this week.
Oh, and
Okay.
you're doing a reading, and there's
Okay.
a reading.
Yeah,
I
it's an event. It's a book launch, and we have delighted that we have Bob Goodwin, who is a producer from X Files, will come and he will interview me.
Okay.
And then I will also do readings from the book. There'll be question and answer, and
how can people get involved, and where is that?
The easiest way to explain it, I think, is just go to my website, which is williambdavis.com, williambdavis.com, and right there you'll find a button that will show you how to book a seat if you want to come to it, or to register for it online, because it will also be online.
And for years, I would drive by the building on Helmkin, William B. Davis Studio. And what does the B stand for? And I just found out today.
Bruce.
William
yeah.
Bruce Davis.
Yeah.
Okay. Pleasure to meet you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Take care.
Everything Film is supported by Lisa Borsato, RE/MAX Platinum Club winner. If you're in the market, experience is key. Lisa Borsato and All Points Realty Group on Austin Avenue in Coquitlam have the team to meet all your professional needs. Visit lisaborsato.com.